Welcome to Around the Bend with Soki. We're Mike and Ramona, and we're making our travels back across the country. In this video, we're staring at a very nice RV park in Washington, Utah. And we're able to make a one-day trip to Zion National Park. About halfway to Zion National Park on Route 9, you leave La Verdun and start heading out into a less populated, more scenic area. As you'll see as we're driving along, it's absolutely stunning. You start to gain some elevation and you start to see sandstone and red rock formations of all sizes and shapes. Some near the road, some way off in the distance that are very, very tall. Along the way, there's a lot of BLM land, or Bureau of Land Management land, that's available for people to boondock. And we did see several people doing that. The only thing is, you people turn off the road and it becomes a very dusty, rocky trail. And you better be prepared for that kind of terrain. Zion National Park is a southwest Utah nature preserve distinguished by Zion Canyon's steep red cliffs. Zion Canyon Scenic Drive cuts through its main section, leading to forested trails along the Virgin River. The river flows into emerald pools, which have waterfalls and a hanging garden. Also along the river, partly through deep chasms, is Zion Narrows wading hike. The red and white sandstone cliffs of southwestern Utah tower hundreds of feet above the Virgin River, which meanders through the network of narrow canyons. The heart of Zion National Park is a secluded canyon that lies amidst this striking landscape. It includes lands originally protected by the Mukuntuweap National Monument and Zion National Monument. The soaring sandstone cliffs, the deep ravines, and the seemingly hidden river valleys have been important to both the indigenous people and European American settlers for thousands of years. On November 19, 1919, Congress redesignated the monument as Zion National Park, and the act was signed by President Woodrow Wilson. The Kolob section was proclaimed a separate national monument in 1937, but was incorporated into the national park in 1956. Congress designated 85% of the park a wilderness area in 2009. The geology of Zion and Kolob Canyons areas includes 9 formations that together represents 150 million years of mostly Mesozoic age sedimentation. At various periods in that time, warm, shallow seas, streams, ponds and lakes, vast deserts, and dry nearshore environments covered the area. Uplift associated with the creation of the Colorado Plateau lifted the region 10,000 feet, starting 13 million years ago. The village of Red Rock is a really nice little community, lots of trees on both sides of the road, but then surrounded by high desert and very huge rocks right behind some of the houses. We found ourselves saying wow as we came around almost every corner. The further we got in towards Springdale, the more amazing the scenery got. It was very distracting at times to kind of keep your eyes on the road. This is actually shuttle stop number 9, and they go in order all the way up to the actual park entrance. I'm leaving our entire drive in up to the park entrance and back out till we find parking, just so you can have an idea of what the entrance looks like, what the availability of parking is, and where some good opportunities might be. As with any national park, if you come in early, you get a lot more opportunities for parking and less crowds. We were coming into it late morning, and we obviously had interesting times finding parking. So we went all the way up to the visitor center, just short of the entrance to the park itself. Turned around and came back down to the center part of the town and actually found a good place to park. We're actually approaching the entrance to the visitor center, and as you swing around here, you'll see a large parking lot. Again, this was pretty full, and off to the right, up the road, will be the actual entrance. The road here continues on through past Zion. There's a turnoff as you get past this entrance. And if you keep on going, you can go on to Bryce Canyon, which is quite a ways further up and over the top. There are actually 9 shuttle stops all the way up through from where we began just as we came into town, all the way up through. We spotted a parking area on the right-hand side just past the country store. And there was parking lots on both sides, and in shuttle stop number 3 is right in front of it. When we pulled into this parking lot, we saw a side parking lot that was kind of chained off. And it had a sign on there that it was reserved parking for anybody who spent $20 or more in the general store.
Well, that's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And you got your $25.
Exactly. And from shuttle stop 3, it was a short ride up, and then we could just go right into the park. So some things you should know about the park. Every year, the National Park Service makes seasonal adjustments to its shuttle schedules and campground availability. Here's what you need to know to plan your visit. You do not need a ticket or reservation to ride the shuttle or enter the park. During the season, shuttle visitors cannot drive personal vehicles on Zion Canyon Scenic Drive. Later in 2023, we will share information about shuttle operations in December. Shuttles arrive every 15 minutes on the Springdale line outside the park, and every 5 to 10 minutes on the Zion Canyon line inside the park, which we're about to get on. Some other important tidbits. You do not need a permit or reservation to ride the shuttle. You do not need a permit or reservation to enter the park. You do need to pay the park fee. You do not need a permit to hike the Narrows from the Temple of Shinawava going upstream in the Virgin River. High water may prevent travels in the Narrows, so check the park's current conditions before you start your day. Heavy rain above the park will impact this, even though there may not be rain anywhere near the park. Everyone who hikes from Scout Lookout to Angel's Landing needs to have a permit. Learn more about this at the Angel's Landing Pilot Permit Program. As you can see, this is a very busy stretch of trail. A lot of people are hiking up into the Narrows, and you can see the ones that have been actually in the Narrows walking in the water coming back out as well. It's not a very strenuous section to hike up through. You are, unfortunately, though, in the canyon, and when the sun gets down in there, it gets very warm. Be sure to bring water and take your time. The geology within the park and the scenery is just amazing. And as you walk around corners, you'll say, oh, wow. It just takes your breath away at times. And it's very peaceful. As you'll note, you see an interesting combination of hikers and people walking up through. Some are just out for a stroll and not really taking this super serious. And then you see others, as you saw in front of us there, with backpacks. You see them coming out with hiking poles and rubber boots. It's a mix. All the way up through, the Virgin River is coming down, cutting its way through, making wide spots, narrow spots, and just some real tranquil areas, as you're about to see.
Sandy Beach.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. Smart idea. It'll cool off pretty quick. Which way? Down below? You want to picture the hole?
The shuttle runs all the way up through to stop 9 within the park, and then comes back down and stops at various spots along the way. Unfortunately, to see the park itself, you really need to get off and then hike these various areas. And if it's really warm out, like it was the day for us, we decided to try to do the viewing of the park from the shuttle bus. And I put together a real short compilation of what it looked like coming back down through the park. Unfortunately, it really doesn't do it justice. And if we're a little disappointed because you don't get a good scenic view of the park without getting off the shuttle bus quite often. I mentioned there was going to be a part 2. We left the park, headed back to our campsite, and as we came out, we saw the turnoff to a lake, a reservoir actually, a Kolob reservoir, about 25 miles up, and I thought that'd be a good place to go. We turned off and went up in there, and it was pretty spectacular. It was actually more scenic than being on the shuttle bus. So I put that in a part 2 that we'll follow up with. All in all, we were very impressed with Zion National Park and the area going up in there. The little village, the scenery, it was all very spectacular, very quaint, and we would go back again. Probably rethink how we did our visit, go earlier, Maybe go on a few of the hikes that are below the Narrows and just see a little bit more. There is a Zion Lodge, which would be pretty interesting to explore as well. And Zion Lodge is located at shuttle stop number 3. Thanks for watching our visit to Zion National Park. We appreciate you watching our videos. Please subscribe, like, and follow. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you around the bend.